and it needs packaging. So we love protein, and protein needs high value addition products. And this is one of the key issues about the Turkish packaging industry for the future. Now let's go, now we pass Turkish economy, we have general Turkish advantages of Turkey, and now we go to the plastic industry. So if we are talking about the Turkish plastic industry, we are talking about 6,000 companies, and 98% of it is SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. These companies are making something around 7 million tons of converting, 7 million tons per year of converting, which is considered a good amount, and the domestic consumption per capita is 70 kilos. So, but we have one problem. You see at the end of the slide, it's foreign dependency in raw material is 86%. That's really high. That's good for the exporters in other countries, but it's really not good situation for Turkey when we are talking about also current account deficit, which I mentioned a minute ago. So again, about the domestic per capita consumption, we can see that there's high potential demand and there's high potential growth possibilities for anybody in Turkey who is in the converting industry. And we can see the figures of the Turkish plastic industry in production, the converting industry, how it's developing in different periods, and it's increasing to 7 million tons by year and year, each year, and the increase is steady, and it's a solid one, the increase. Now, what has happened after this increases? Turkey became EU's third biggest converter. That has just become last year, somewhere around November, because we were before fourth after France, and last year in November, the new figures was from Plastics Europe. We recognized that we become number 3. And I was just 1 month ago in another Plastics Europe meeting, and I can see that it will not take a lot of time for Turkey to be the second. Unfortunate things about our Italian partners of the market. So Turkish market is growing, and Turkey will be the second EU's second biggest converter. That's something. That's something because Turkey is in customs union with EU. I will come to this point. So about the plastic consumption by industries, we can easily see that it's somehow similar as the other countries in the world. It's about 40%, the packaging, as always, the leader in the consumption, the converting. Then we have the construction, we have electronics, we have agriculture, we have textiles, we have automotive. So still now, packaging and construction makes the big portion of the business. Turkish industry profile, what we can say is that, as I mentioned, in Turkey, the plastic industry is under the umbrella of the chemical industry. And it's the biggest part of the chemical industry. It contributes about the 30% of the exports of the chemical industry in Turkey, the plastic. And interestingly, the plastic industry is the most value addition part of the chemical industry. The other parts are not so value addition making compared to the plastic. And now, what are the polymers? So just Howard has explained about the polyolefins kingdom. So we can see also the polyolefins kingdom in Turkey also for sure. It will be the same following the world trend. So we have 27% of the polypropylene, which is leading by far. Not by far, sorry. I can see that polyethylene is coming just at 25. We have polyethylene at 25% and the rest for the other ones in 2010. These figures are for 2010. When we are talking about the problem of foreign dependence in plastic raw materials, this is a problem for us, for Turkey, because only 15% of its own requirement of converting industry, Turkey can produce himself the petrochemicals. The rest is important. But now, as I said, there is a problem of this current account deficit, foreign trade deficit. The government is taking strong precautions because petrochemical industry is contributing a lot to these figures. So they are making new incentive plan, strong one, aggressive one, and they are trying to push international investors to Turkey to invest on the petrochemical industry. And we know in Turkey that my fellow colleagues from Turkey, they know that there has been a lot of movement going around in Turkey for the last 3-4 months. They started with the PET. There is 2 investments. One of them is just about to be finished and started. The other one, the Indian fellows that they made some investment, which is also a good one, big one on PET. There's another one signed by Saudis and Turkish local company for production of PP. So we can see that there is also the precautions and incentives give its fruits in short time. So it will change. And what I can say, for example, for the PET, before Turkey was dependent on PET for imports. But at the end of this year, Turkey will be self-sufficient. And in 1.5 years, Turkey will be a net PET exporter. So this is an important issue for the future of the industry. We can talk about exports, how the exports of the end products and raw material is changing. Turkey is exporting these plastic products directly or indirectly through refrigerators from automotive industry. We have a lot of plastic parts. We can see the total exports. I don't want to go inside the specific one because that's all inside. We have main markets for plastic products. That could be interesting because you can see that we have the neighboring countries of Turkey as good trade partners of Turkey in the plastic business. You can see that there is EU countries, there's countries like the neighbors, Iraq, Iran, and it's a good mixture. And we would like that this mixture, the distribution is more even and increased and not focused on the EU. This is the general strategy of the government, and also as the plastic industry, converting industry, we would like to do the same. Imports, as I said, 85% of all the need is imported, so there's no question about it, there's big imports. And the future, you see that the future of the Turkish plastic industry, we can judge from the investments on the machinery and equipment. The machinery and equipment investments are increasing. So this year we expect in 2012 to be more than $1 billion of plastic machinery and equipment investment. This will be a good year for the investing companies to make on the plastic business. It means that the increase on the Turkish plastic industry will continue. By the way, I never told about the increased numbers of the Turkish plastic converting industry. Let me give you some numbers. 2 years ago, the growth was 18%, 1/8, for the Turkish converting industry. Last year, it was 12%, and this year we expect also 12% increase in the conversion industry. Thus, it will be also the increase of the importation and petrochemicals, because still now there is not a lot of local production. So this is some future expectations, capacities, but now I come to the point that I want to tell. So, in the first hand, I told about Turkey's EU customs union agreements. That's an important issue, because any company investing in Turkey, making production here, also on the plastic converting, can export to EU without any tax and limitations. Tax and limitations, because limitations and barriers are getting more important after the 2008 crisis. So it means it's an easy base to sell goods to EU. So the Turkish market, although it's a big population, big market, there is still big market of EU. And we can see that Turkey is trying to gain and succeeding to gain in this market, because it's now the third biggest converter in Europe, and it's going to be in short time the second one. It means that the EU market will be a market for Turkish converters. So we will have conversion for Turkish market plus for the EU market. That's easy to understand from the figures what we come. So any friend in doing the same business in Middle East, they face some problems penetrating to EU market. They have this or that way taxes and some trade barriers. If they're in food industry, they would request some documents that they don't request from any Turkish exporters. That's something positive if you are converting industry in Turkey. And the protectionism is getting more and more, because, as I told in the first hand, the governments are taking more precautions so that they can protect their own people from this economic crisis, which they are faced too much. Foreign companies, as I said, also tend to make more petrochemical investments here in Turkey, because they would like to bypass the barriers to Europe, and in case is like the PET ones that I told. It's going to be also a net exporter, exporting to Europe. The EU situation is great importance to Turkey and also Turkish plastic industry. And what do we mean by Turkey asserting to EU? What will be the results? So I just wanted to bring some interesting pictures just to have an idea. This is a list and weighted votes of countries in the European certification body, EC, European certification body. So this year, Turkish Standards Institute was elected to be the voting part of the EU certification body, CE, and you see the vote of Turkey is one of the biggest ones. So this is just an example. And if Turkey is in EU, it will not be only a market, but it will be a partner, a shareholder in EU. So it will also give a good strength to EU for exports of EU. So it will be, first hand, it may seem a little bit negative for the EU friends from EU converters, but on the long run, it's good for the benefit of EU with Turkey together exporting, because Turkey will be one of the decision makers in EU. One of the other important issues when we are talking about converting industry in Turkey is, as I said, the distribution of domestic market and the export market. Because generally speaking, I see a lot of friends from the Middle East market, the converting companies or petrochemical companies. They have a big problem. The problem is they have huge capacities, good investment possibilities with financing. They have good exports, but the problem, there is no domestic consumption. They have very few domestic consumption due to low populations at home.